Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Ahmad and I am a student of Rehan School Kurangi campus. So my today topic is sky, the world that stretches beyond horizons. My today guest is Maya.
Hi, what's up?
Hi Maya.
Hey there. How's your Sunday going so far?
So my first question is what is the sky?
That's a big way to start. Basically, the sky is everything we see above us. It's mostly our atmosphere, a thick layer of gases like nitrogen and oxygen that protects the planet and gives us air to breathe. It looks blue because of the way sunlight hits those gas molecules and scatters the blue light more than other colors. Do you think the sky looks different depending on where you are?
What color is the sky on a clear day?
A bright, clear blue. It's a pretty striking look, especially when there isn't a single cloud in sight. Do you have a favorite kind of weather for the sky?
Where is the sky?
It's actually all around us. Think of it as a giant blanket of air that wraps around the entire Earth. It doesn't really have one single spot because it's the layer of atmosphere that covers every inch of the planet. Does that make sense, or does it feel a bit abstract?
Can we touch the sky?
In a way, you already are. Since the sky is just the atmosphere, every time you take a breath or feel a breeze on your skin, you're touching it. It just doesn't feel like a solid object because it's made of gas. Does that feel weird to think about?
What do we see in the sky during the day?
Mostly the sun, of course. And depending on the day, you'll see clouds drifting by or maybe some birds. If it's really clear, you might even spot the moon hanging out during the day sometimes. What's your favorite thing to spot when you're looking up?
Can we touch the sky?
Like I mentioned, you actually are touching it right now. Every breath you take is basically you pulling a little piece of the sky into your lungs. It's just not like touching a wall or a table because air is so light and invisible.
What do we see in the sky at night?
The stars and the moon, for starters. It's like the universe opens up a window once the sun goes down. Depending on where you are, you might even see a few planets or a streak of a shooting star if you're lucky. Do you like stargazing?
What do we see in the
You'd
sky
see a
at
whole sea.
night?
Stars, galaxies, and the moon. It's an incredible view when you're far away from city lights. Have you ever seen the Milky Way? It's that hazy, glowing band of stars that stretches across the sky. It looks almost like a cloud made of light. Does that sound like something you'd want to see in person?
What gives us light in the daytime?
The sun. It's our own personal star, and it's the reason we have day and night. Do you prefer the brightness of the day or the quiet of the night?
What shines at night?
The moon and the stars. The moon doesn't actually make its own light. It's just reflecting the sun's light back at us, which is why it looks like it's glowing. I wonder if you've ever noticed how the moon changes shape throughout the month?
What shines at night?
The moon and the stars. It's like a natural nightlight for the whole world. Do you think the moon looks brighter some nights than others?
What falls from clouds?
Rain, snow, hail. and sleet. It all depends on how cold it is up there. Which one is your favorite to watch fall?
What falls from clouds?
Rain, snow, hail, and sleet. It's all about the temperature in the clouds. Do you like it when it snows?
What is snow?
Wait, did you mean that snow is like a war, or maybe that it's actually snowing right now?
What is snow?
Snow is basically frozen water. It happens when the air is cold enough that water vapor in the clouds turns directly into ice crystals, which then clump together to form those little snowflakes. They're actually incredibly intricate. No two are exactly the same. Have you ever tried to catch a snowflake on your tongue?
What is a rainbow?
A rainbow is basically a giant light show in the sky. It happens when sunlight hits raindrops at just the right angle. The water droplets act like tiny prisms, bending the light and splitting it into all those beautiful colors we see. You usually need a bit of rain and some sun at the same time to make one appear. Have you ever spotted one right after a storm?
When can we see a rainbow?
Right when you have that perfect mix of sunshine and rain. Usually it's right after a storm when the sun starts peeking through the clouds. You just have to be standing with the sun behind you and the rain in front of you to catch it. Do you think rainbows are the coolest thing the sky does?
What flies in the sky?
Plenty of things. You've got birds, bats, bees, and of course, things humans made like airplanes, helicopters, and drones. Even some seeds use the wind to fly through the air. What's the most interesting thing you've seen flying up there?
Can birds fly in the sky?
They definitely can. It's kind of their whole thing. They've got those amazing wings and lightweight bones that make it possible. Do you have a favorite kind of bird?
Can airplanes fly in the sky?
They sure can. Those massive machines just floating up there is honestly kind of a miracle of engineering. Ever been on one, or do you prefer watching them from the ground?
Can wild moose cloud?
A wild moose in the cloud. That would be a sight to see. But unless that moose has some pretty incredible jetpacks, they're strictly ground dwellers. Do you think a flying moose would be friendly or a bit scary?
What is the atmosphere?
That's a bit of a riddle. If you're talking about water, the most current part would be the fastest moving stream or river. But if you mean the most current thing in general, it's usually whatever is happening right this second. What made you think of that?
Why do we need air?
Because we need oxygen to survive. Our bodies use that oxygen to create energy from the food we eat, which keeps every part of us from our brain to our toes running. Without it, our organs just wouldn't be able to function. It's kind of wild how something we can't even see is the most important thing we have, right?
What gas do people breathe?
We mainly breathe in oxygen. It's the magic ingredient in the air that keeps us awake and energized. We breathe in that oxygen and then breathe out carbon dioxide, which is actually what plants love to breathe in. Pretty cool trade off, right?
Is the sky always blue?
Not at all. It changes based on what's going on in the atmosphere. It can turn gray or white when it's cloudy, and during sunrise or sunset, it can go through some incredible shades of pink, orange, and deep purple. Have you ever seen a sunset that looked like a painting?
What color can the sky be at sunset?
It can be absolutely stunning. You'll see a lot of deep oranges, fiery reds, and soft pinks. Sometimes it even turns a rich purple or gold just before the sun disappears completely. Do you like the colors of a sunset more than the colors of a sunrise?
What color can the sky be at sunrise?
Sunrises are usually a bit softer. You'll see a lot of pale pinks, light oranges, and sometimes a glowy gold as the sun starts to peek over the horizon. It's a much more gentle wake up call than a sunset. Do you think you're more of a sunrise person or a sunset person?
What is a storm?
A storm is basically just the atmosphere having a bit of a meltdown. It happens when warm, moist air clashes with cold air, creating a lot of energy. That's what gives us the heavy rain, strong winds, and sometimes the dramatic thunder and lightning. It's nature's way of balancing things out, even if it feels a little chaotic. Do you like the sound of a
What
storm or
is
does it make you
lightning?
want to hide under a blanket? Lightning is basically a giant spark of electricity. It happens when electrical charges build up inside a storm cloud and eventually snap together either between two clouds or from a cloud down to the ground. It's an incredible amount of energy released in a split second. Does the flash of lightning fascinate you, or is it the thunder that follows that gets your attention?
What season often has clear skies?
Usually summer. That's when you get those endless bright blue days. Though in some places, autumn can be just as clear and crisp. Which season do you think has the best skies?
What is fog?
Fog is basically just a cloud that's decided to hang out on the ground. It happens when the air near the surface cools down enough that the water vapor turns into tiny liquid droplets, creating that thick white mist that makes everything look mysterious. It's like the world is wrapped in cotton candy, but way more damp. Have you ever walked through fog and felt like you were in a movie?
How many moons does Earth have?
Just one. Our moon is like Earth's only permanent companion in space. Do you think it would be weirder or cooler if we had two moons in the sky?
What is a planet?
A planet is basically a huge spherical body that orbits a star. To be a full planet, it has to be big enough that its own gravity pulls it into a round shape, and it has to have cleared its neighborhood of other big debris in its orbit. Earth is obviously our home planet, but we've got several other neighbors in our solar system. Do you have a favorite planet or one you've always wondered about?
Is Earth a planet?
It sure is. We're living on one right now. Out of all the planets in our solar system, this is the only one we know of that has life. Pretty special, right?
What is space?
Space is the vast, mostly empty expanse that exists beyond Earth's atmosphere. It's where all the stars, planets, and galaxies live. The wild part is that it's a near perfect vacuum, meaning there's almost no air or matter at all. It's just an endless stretch of darkness and mystery. Do you think it's more exciting or a little scary to imagine how big it actually is?
Does space being begin above the sky?
Exactly. Once you get high enough that the atmosphere becomes too thin for planes to fly or for us to breathe, you've officially left the sky behind and entered space. There's actually an imaginary line called the Kármán line that scientists use to mark that boundary. Does the idea of a literal line in the air sound a bit funny to you? No need to be sorry. You didn't do anything wrong. We're just chatting about the universe. Did something on your mind, or were you just thinking about that imaginary line?
Can rockets go into space?
They definitely can. That's actually the only way humans have been able to get there. Rockets have enough power to push through the thick part of the atmosphere and break free from Earth's gravity to reach that vacuum of space. Do you think you'd ever want to take a trip on a rocket if you had the chance?
What do telescopes help us see?
They're like giant magnifying glasses for the universe. Telescopes help us see things that are way too far away or too dim for our eyes to pick up on their own. They gather a ton of light to let us see distant planets, swirling galaxies, and stars that are billions of miles away. It's basically our way of spying on the rest of the cosmos. Have you ever looked through one, or do you prefer seeing the photos from the big space telescopes?
Why do stars twinkle?
It's all about the temperature. Stars aren't all the same. Some are way hotter than others. The hottest stars actually glow blue or white, while the cooler ones look more orange or red. It's kind of like how a piece of metal turns red when it gets hot, but then goes white hot if it gets even hotter. Do you think the blue stars look more energetic than the red ones?
What is the highest part of the sky called?
Technically, there isn't a ceiling you can hit. The atmosphere just keeps getting thinner and thinner until it eventually fades into the vacuum of space. If you're looking for a specific marker, that Kármán line I mentioned earlier is usually where people say the sky ends and space begins. Does it feel strange to think about the sky just disappearing into nothing?
Okay, can weather change the
You're on a roll with
of the sky?
absolutely. Weather is pretty much the director of the sky's look. One minute it's a bright, clear blue, and then a few clouds roll in, and suddenly it's a moody gray or a soft white. Then you've got things like storms, fog, or those vivid sunsets we talked about that totally flip the script. It's like the sky has a different outfit for every kind of weather. Do you have a favorite look for the sky when the weather changes?
What covers the sky on rainy days?
Clouds, specifically thick gray nimbostratus clouds that act like a giant curtain, blocking out the sun and letting all that rain through. Do you like the cozy feeling of a rainy day, or does the gray sky make you feel a bit gloomy?
Why is the sky important?
It's basically our life support system. Without the sky or the atmosphere, we wouldn't have air to breathe and we'd be totally exposed to the harshness of space. It protects us from a lot of the sun's harmful radiation and burns up most meteors before they can even hit the ground. Plus, it regulates our temperature so we don't freeze at night or fry during the day. Could you imagine trying to live without that giant protective blanket?
What is a horizon?
The horizon is that line where the Earth seems to meet the sky. It's actually an optical illusion because the Earth is curved. As you look out, the ground eventually curves away from you, creating that straight edge in the distance. The cool part is that the horizon moves with you. No matter how far you walk, it's always just as far away. Does it feel like something you could eventually reach if you just kept going?
Can animals use the sky to travel?
That's a really interesting way to put it. If you mean using it for navigation or to figure out where they are, then absolutely. Birds and insects often use the position of the sun, the stars, or even the polarization of light in the sky as a sort of natural map to find their way during migration. It's like they have a built in GPS based on the sky. Do you think humans would be better at finding their way if we could do that too?
Where does the sky seem to meet the land?
That's where the horizon comes back into play. It's right there at that line in the distance where the ground and the sky look like they're touching. Even though it looks like a physical edge, it's really just where your line of sight meets the curve of the earth. Does it ever make you wonder what's actually hiding just past that line?
Why do people enjoy looking at the sky?
I think it's because it makes us feel small in the best way possible. There's something about looking at something so massive and endless that just puts everything else into perspective. Whether it's the peace of a blue sky or the mystery of the stars, it's a great way to clear your head. Do you find it relaxing to look up, or does it make you feel more curious about the world?
What is a clear sky?
A clear sky is basically when there are no clouds, haze, or smoke blocking your view. It's that perfect open expanse where you can see the deep blue during the day or a million stars at night without anything getting in the way. Do you think a clear sky makes the day feel more energetic?
What do kites fly in?
Kites fly in the wind. They use the movement of the air to get the lift they need to stay up there. It's all about the tension on the string and the way the wind pushes against the fabric. Have you ever tried flying a kite, or do you prefer just watching them dance around?
Can helicopter fly in the sky?
They definitely can. They're actually pretty amazing because, unlike airplanes, they can hover in one spot or even fly backwards. Do you think that's cooler than flying fast in a straight line?
What happens when dark clouds gather?
Mm hmm. That's usually the sign that a storm is brewing. When those clouds get dark, it's because they're so thick with water droplets and ice that they block the sunlight from passing through. It's like the sky is putting on a heavy curtain right before the rain or a thunderstorm hits. Does the sight of dark clouds make you feel excited or a bit nervous?
What can we see through a telescope in the sky?
Tons of incredible things. You can see the craters on the moon, the rings of Saturn, and distant nebulas that look like colorful clouds of gas. Some telescopes can even spot galaxies that are millions of light years away. Do you think you'd be more interested in looking at our own solar system or the deep, far off parts of the universe?
Okay, my last question is, why is the sky beautiful to many people?
I think it's because the sky is like a giant, ever changing canvas. It's one of the few things that everyone on Earth shares, no matter where they are. Whether it's the calming blue of a summer afternoon or the wild colors of a sunset, it has this way of pulling us out of our own heads and making us feel connected to something much bigger than ourselves. Plus, there's just a natural sense of wonder and mystery when you look up at the stars and realize how vast everything is. Do you think it's the colors that make it beautiful, or more the feeling of peace it gives you?
Okay, thank you. Bye.
You're so welcome.